नमामि शंकराचार्य गुरुपाद सरोरुहम् यस्य प्रसादात् मूढोऽपि सर्वज्ञोऽहं सदा भवम् कामाक्षी करुणारूपं कामकोटि जगद्गुरुं चिन्मूर्तिं कलये चित्ते शंकराचार्यमव्ययम् भक्ताग्रगिरिसम्भूता शंकरार्णवगामिनी पुनातु भुवनं पुण्या श्रीगुरोः सरितापदा वेद वेदांत साम्राज्य धर्म कामार्थमोक्षदम् विद्यारण्यं नुमः पुण्यं ज्योतिर्गण्यमत्युनत् सदाशिव श्री ब्रह्मेन्द्र धृत स्वपद पादुकान् धीरान् परशिवेन्द्रार्यान् ध्यायामि सततं हृदि अपार करुणा सिन्धुं ज्ञानदं शान्तरूपिणं श्री चन्द्रशेखर गुरुं प्रणमामि मुदान्वहं देवे देहे च देशे च भक्त्यारोग्य सुखप्रदं बुध पामर सेव्यन्तं श्री जयेन्द्र नमाम्यहं माम शंकरान्दाख्य विजयेन्द्र सरस्वतीं श्री गुरुं शिष्टमार्गानुनेतारं सन्मतिप्रदं सदाशिवसमारम्भां शंकराचार्य मध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परा. This year is a special occasion in which the 2500th Rādhanā of Shri Shankara Bhagavatpāda was performed, and starting on the auspicious event of Ashadha Shukla Ekadashi Budhanuradha Punyakala, on which our Shri Kanchi Kamakoti Mulamnaya Sarvagya Peethadipati Jagadguru Shankaracharya Shri Shankara Vijayam Saraswati Swamigal himself performed with his own hands Abhisheka to Ramanatha Swami at Rameshwaram, and thereby completed his Tirtha Yatra. With the prarthana of doing the Anusandhana of the original Shankara Vijaya text, we have embarked upon this prayatna, and right now we are examining the Anandagiriya Shankara Vijaya, which was composed by one Anandagiri, a direct disciple of Bhagavatpāda, and currently we are examining the 19th Prakarana, or chapter of that text. So far, in the previous Prakaranas, Anandagiri, he has taken upon himself the task. Each Shishya dedicates his efforts to a particular kind of Guru Seva. So, Anandagiri Acharya, he is evidently a very erudite scholar of the Shastras, and he has taken upon himself the task as if of a court reporter of recording what are all the discussions that happened, the Shastric discussions that happened between Bhagavatpāda and the proponents of the various matas, which are matas or upasana paddhatis, which are prevalent in those days. And earlier we saw how Bhagavatpāda discussed with those proponents of the Shaiva mata, Vaishnava mata, and even Agni mata, Surya mata, Hiranyagarbha or Brahma mata, and various kinds of Ganapati mata also. And Acharya pointed out that while all of those matas are stemming from one particular set of passages which of the Shruti Smriti Puranas, which indicate the greatness of that particular Devata, Acharya pointed out some parts where the proponents of those matas were attaching some meanings to those passages which are not as per Shastra, and Acharya corrected them, and especially we saw that they were giving excessive importance to the wearing of the symbols of the deities on their bodies. But Acharya pointed out that such excessive importance cannot be granted, and Acharya advises that one should do bhakti and realize that Bhagavan and is attain the jnana, that Bhagavan is the same as our own Swarupa, and through that only we can attain moksha. This is what Acharya has been teaching so far. And now the discussion of one particular tradition of the Shakti Mata or the Devi Upasana Mata, it is now commencing. Atah param Shri Shankaracharya Tulaja Bhavani Puram Prapa. The very well known kshetra of Tulaja Bhavani. Acharya reached that kshetra. Tasmat Ilam Padapadmehi Vichitrang Guruvan Kalashottamangarchidangrid Bhayantam Kataksha Purna Rupam Sashishyaha Bhajat Saha. Acharya, along with his Shishyas, he worshipped that Abba whose lotus feet were fit to be worshipped because the palasha, the word palasha refers to the palasha tree. Yet, even though normally the word uttamanga refers to the head, here in the case of a tree, it refers to flower. And the pushpas of the palasha are considered especially auspicious for the upasana of Devi, and using those pushpas, the lotus feet of Ambika are worshipped. And not only Ambika, the Granthakarta describes beautifully how when Acharya is coming to this kshetra, it is not only that Ambika who is of this Lalita Swarupa, even it is impossible to discern any difference from Acharyas coming to this kshetra and Ambika herself coming to this kshetra, because wherever Acharya places his lotus feet, the Pada Padma Chinhas are the signs of his placing his feet are so beauteous upon the earth. Here, a rare usage of the word ila, which is normally found in Vedic texts only, it refers to Prithvi. So the earth of that land was decorated by the symbol, the placing of the feet of Bhagavatpāda, and it is described as if Bhagavatpāda is Ambika himself, herself. एवं सकलयति गुरुः श्री शंकराचार्यः समस्त शिष्याचरित पूजांगीकार विलसत्पाद कमलः सर्वदेवार्चितो गुरुरिव प्रकाशमान मूर्तिः तत्र मासकालम् अतिष्ठत्. So the Bhagavatpada, who is the Nayaka of so many sannyasis who were traveling with him, and not only those sannyasis and the earlier Prakarana, great retinue of many people who are traveling along with Bhagavatpada has been already described. And not only them, but whoever are the astikas in that particular kshetra where Acharya visits, all those astikas are giving, paying their respects to the lotus feet of Acharya, and it is as if all the devatas are going and paying respects to Brihaspati, their guru, and Acharya is shining like that. And it is specifically mentioned that Acharya stayed there for a month. So, if the objective of the Tirtha Yatra is only to have the Kshetra Darshana, even in the earlier Prakaranas, we can see that Acharya stayed here for 1 month, for 2 months. So, if the objective is only to have the Devata Darshana, maybe 1 week might be sufficient. But why especially 1 month or more? Because the objective is not only to have Devata Darshana, it is to talk with the people who are there, who are following various traditions. They think that they are following based on the Vedic tradition only, but they are adding some aspects which are not as per Shastra. So Acharya wants to correct them, to discuss with them. That is why Acharya allots more time for that. Tatrasthaha paramagurum yatishiramanim shirobhir abhivadya savinaya idamuchaho. So the reception of the people, local people also is of many kinds. Some people, it has already been mentioned, were quite vehement in objecting to Acharya's activities. But by and large, most people are approaching Acharya with great respect and devotion only by the tejas of the Acharya. So they come and do namaskara to Acharya, and with Vinaya, they submit to Acharya. And probably a lot of them want to convince Acharya of their own mata. They see that he is a Mahatma, and so if that Mahatma takes up my mata, then my mata will gain strength. So they request Acharya, that we have seen earlier also, likewise here also, to listen to their mata and request him to take it up. Swamin asmanmatam ativichitrataram srano bhagavati kila mahashambhu shaktihi prapancha moola karanam gunadita vrittishcha. So Bhagavati is our Pradhana Devata, and she is the Shakti of Shambhu, Parameshwara. She is the Moola Karana of the Prapancha, entire world. She is actually Gunatita. She is beyond the 3 gunas, the Sattva, Rajas, Tamo gunas. And then Maya Vashat, through her Maya, Mahat Tattvadi Jagat Akhilam Utpannam. So Mahat Ahankara and so on. Later on, this will again be mentioned. So this was created by her Maya only. And through that, Tadvara Brahma Dutpattihi Tattat Shaktipattishta Bhavati. Through that, the creation of Brahma, Vishnu and other devatas, and all the individual Shaktis of all those devatas like Saraswati, Lakshmi and so on, it was they were created like that. But she herself is actually beyond Manas and Vak. She is beyond mind and speech. Mind cannot fathom her actual form, and speech cannot express her actual form. But because it is our limitation, it's not the Swarupa of Amba is like that, but due to our limitation, whatever Swarupa of Ambika that we are doing Upasana to, we are worshipping, we call her Bhavani because the Kshetra Devata is Turaja Bhavani, and that Bhavani is an Amsha of that Paradevata. How come calling her an Amsha? Is it correct? It is as if she is lesser. No, that is why specifically it was mentioned that because the actual form is beyond our capability of understanding, so the actual Paradevata has taken one aspect of that Paradevata only we are able to comprehend in our mind. So that is called Bhavani. And we are Charanaravinda Seva Paraha. We are doing the Seva to her Charanaravinda, to her Bhavani's lotus feet. Tadanka Kunkumadi Dharinaha. We where, see, Kunkuma Dharana is always there in tradition. But here it refers to Kunkuma Dharana like in earlier Prakaranas, bearing the symbol of those things as is in a different way, is what they are recommending. Tatpada Akara Akarita Swarna Pada Baddha Galabahavaha. Vayam Jivan Mukta Eva. So we are wearing all these things on our body, and so because of that we are Jivan Muktas. So how come Vidyopasakanam Tatphala Shramana? So I will quote a Shruti Vakya. Lots of these Upasakas, everybody, almost everybody quotes a Shruti Vakya. Etad Upasarayeva Muktim Shrutiraha. So they claim that there is a Veda Vakya which specifically says that by the Upasana of Ambika in this particular form, that one can attain moksha. So what is that Shruti? He quotes the Ishavasya Upanishad Shruti, which says that one should know Vidya and Avidya. I'm just giving the literal meaning of that verse because the interpretation is different from as per the speaker. So what that person wants to say is different. Vidya and Avidya both should be known. One by that, by Avidya, one will cross all that is mrityu, what is subject to death, that we will cross. And by Vidya, and this is where is the key portion for which is important to that person, that Shakti Upasaka Vidyaya Amritam Ashtude. So he claims that this particular passage means that because Vidya, here Shri Vidya, Shri Vidya means not only the Upasana Paddhati of Shakti, Shri Vidya refers to Shakti herself. So by the Upasana of Vidya, we will attain moksha, is the meaning of this Shruti Vakya, is what he said. Yameva eka sarvaihi mamukshubhihi upasaniya. So whoever desires moksha should do upasana of this Shakti only. Tasyaha katakshaleshayaneva mukti darshanat. By the very smallest kataksha of Shakti, Paradevata, one can attain mukti. Saivacha prakritihi pradhanamiti cha vyavahriyate. In other shastras, she is referred to as pradhanam. In Sankhya Shastra, she is referred to as pradhanam. But they don't understand. They call pradhanam, they consider that pradhanam is jada. But here Devi is Vidya Swarupini and she is Prakriti. She is the word, literal meaning of the word Prakriti is cause, Mula Karana. So in other passages, in Shruti, other passages, it is mentioned Prakritischa Ishwarascha. it is what Vyakhana he gives to this particular passage is that it refers to the non-duality. That is that Prakriti and Ishvara are not different from each other. And later on, there will be some substantiation given to this claim. And because of that, he says, so the Chandogyopanishad passage, which was earlier we have quoted that probably many times, that passage which says that what that vastu called Sat, literal meaning of the word Sat is truth. It was what was present at the beginning before creation, and from that this entire world was created. The procedure, the prakriya of creation has been described in many different ways. But the point is that the Prakriti, the Moola Karana from which the Prapancha was created, is, as per his opinion, is all these iti jagadu ityadi jagadupadana karana vakyani prakriti paranyevo. So earlier it was mentioned that these sentences are referring to the creation of the world from Paramatma. But he insists that these sentences are referring to the creation of the world from Prakriti, Paramatma Shakti only. Ataha Prakrityupasakaha Mukta eva iti niravadyam. So those who are doing upasana of this Prakriti, who is that Paradevata, who is Vidya Swarupini, only they will attain moksha, they will definitely attain moksha. Pranavanishta avarnat varnadi utpattihi yatha tathaiva tatshaktehe bhavanyaha lakshmyad utpattihi. So, like in the pranava, we normally say that the pranava consists of three sounds, u, m, and it is as if from the u comes and from that m comes. Likewise, even though the Moola Shakti is called Bhavani, from that Bhavani, Lakshmi, Saraswati, and so on, they are created. Ataha Sarvadeva Karanasya Rudrasya. So here the word Rudra refers to the Sarveshwara. In each individual Upasana Paddhatis, the usage of this word will differ. Rudra, whether it refers to Parameshwara or not. Here, it is used to refer to Parameshwara. Sarvadeva Karanasya Rudrasya Ya Shaktihi Chandra Chandrika Nyayena Tadudbodha Swarupini Swadhina Vallabheti Prasiddha. So this is what I mentioned earlier. There will be some substantiation given to the non-difference of the Shakti from Ishvara. So it says that here Rudra refers to Sarveshwara, who is the cause of all the Devatas, the Devas, and the Devas, for the Devas, the individual Shaktis, we have Brahma, Vishnu, Indra, and so on. So there are Saraswati, Lakshmi, Indrani, and so on. So likewise, just like from Rudra, all these Devas were formed from Shakti, Rudra Shakti, Bhavani, all these Devi, the Shaktis were born. Chandra Chandrika Nyayana, that is the Yukti that he is giving. Just like the moon, when it comes, when it rises up, the Prakasha, the moonlight, the moonlight, we cannot say that the moonlight is different, separate from the moon. At the same time, we cannot say that the moonlight itself is the moon. So the moon and the moonlight have we can't say that they are different. Nor can we say that they are one and the same. That is a different matter. But here, there is no difference. We can't separate them entirely, is the point here. So likewise, the Shakti, we cannot separate the Shakti from Shiva, or the Rudra. Here it is called as Rudra. And just like Tad Udbodha Swarupini. So the Udbodha means something that is manifesting, just like the moon rising. That is why she is called Saiva Bhavani. She is called Swadhina Vallabha. Shiva Swadhina Vallabha is there in the Lalita Sahasrama also. And Swadhina Vallabha means she is her consort, her Deva is always with her. Saiva Bhavani. So that is the Swarupa of Bhavani. Iti Nishtayavatam Asmakam Nagaschid Vicharaha. So we are very confident that this is the Swarupa of Bhavani, and so we do not worry about everything, anything at all. We do not worry about anything at all. Parama Purushaihi Bhavadbhirapi. So you are a great person, great soul. So tadanka dharana purasram saiva upasaniya. So you also please do take up the upasana of Shakti. Iti prapte Srimadbhiridamachate. So once they submit their opinion, Acharya replies, Nanu, Bhavadukta Bhavani, Samsara Bhayaharinyeva. So there is no doubt that Bhavani, whom you mentioned, she is one who removes the fear of the samsara chakra. That is true. Tathapi Purushasya Shreshtatva. So already we have mentioned how when Acharya, when the other person is talking as if Shiva Murti is the only Murti fit to be worshipped, then Acharya will point out, Array, then what will the Vishnu Upasakas say? Because you are quoting some Shruti Vakyas in support of your opinion. Some Shruti Vakyas do indicate that Shiva is Paramatma, and they will also, the Vishnu Upasakas also will quote some other Shruti Vakyas. There are also Shruti Vakyas which indicate that Vishnu is Paramatma. And when Acharya talks to the Vishnu Bhaktas, then he will point out likewise from the point of view of the Shiva Upasana Panchati. So does Acharya have any Siddhanta of himself? Yes, definitely he has. But his Siddhanta is that the single Paramatma is appearing in the form of Shiva, Vishnu and so on. And that is the only way that all the Shruti Vakyas can be given equal importance. So here, when this person is talking as if the Shakti is more important, even though he says that Shakti is based on Shiva only, he gives the Paramya, gives excess more importance to Shakti. So Acharya puts in the counterpoint. Purushasya Shreshtatva. So how does Acharya prove his point? How can Acharya say that Purusha is the Shrestha, is the greatest compared to Shakti? So Acharya says, okay, you are saying that by knowing, by the upasana of Shri Vidya or the Devi, one can attain moksha. But if the Devi is of the Swarupa of Prakriti or Maya, where is it said that by the upasana of Maya one can attain moksha? Ishwarajnanenaiva muktiriti sarvatrapi pratipaditatvacha. So everywhere, all the Shruti Vakyas are talking only about the jnana, the realization of Ishvara or Shiva giving, or Paramatma giving moksha. And nowhere does any Shruti Vakya speak about the realization of Maya giving moksha. And Atmanam Atmanadhyatva. So one should realize that Paramatma is none other than that soul which is shining within us. And this is not only that is shown as the upaya for moksha. This is not what you are saying. You are saying that one has to meditate upon or do upasana of Maya. Iti mukti vachana darshanat ajatītasya paramatmaneva jnanena muktihi. So later on, presently Acharya will quote Shruti Vakya which talks about one aja. I will come to that. So Acharya says that Paramatmana eva jnanena muktihi. Only through the jnana of Paramatma does the Shruti. See, this is not whether my opinion is right or your opinion is right. It is what is the opinion of the Shruti Vakya. So Acharya goes on to explain that Taittiriya Shruti, where here a word aja is taken up. Normally, a literal meaning of the word aja is a female sheep, and ajaha, a goat or a sheep, whatever. So ajaha refers to a male sheep, and aja refers to a female. But here, why does the Upanishad want to talk about sheep or goats or whatever? So the word aja is used in the sense of that which is not na jayate ityaja, that which is not born. So as far as the Vedanta Siddhanta is concerned, in the Paramatma Sthiti, only Sarvam Brahmamayam, Rere Sarvam Brahmamayam, like Sadashiva Brahmendra, that is the Paramarthika truth. So nothing else to be discussed. But when we come to the Vyavahara Dasha and we are discussing all these things, then we have to accept that in the Vyavahara Dasha, Jiva is there, Ishvara is there, many Jivas are there. Shuddha Chaitanya is also there, Maya is also there. All these are different from one another, and somehow that Maya has got hold of Shuddha Chaitanya. So, as far as the Vyavahara Kala, even though if you start examining it too much, you will not be able to substantiate it. But that is how it is. That is real life. We cannot say, no, no, I am not experiencing real life. You start thinking about it, you will find that you cannot prove it. I am not going into details. That is for a Vedanta session. But that is how Shastra shows that we cannot substantiate what we try to dissect what we are observing, then we will see that we cannot explain everything. That is why it is called nirvachaniya. It is inexplicable, but it is what we are experiencing. So, but the point is, in the Vyavahara Dasha, all these things are there. So, in the Vyavahara Dasha, this prapancha has to be taken as anadi. It was never, we cannot put a beginning at what Kalya Hargada the prapancha was born. No, we cannot put a date to it. Or at what point of time. No, we can't do that. So, at what point of time was the Jiva born? What point, when was Ishvara born? Maybe nobody will ask for the date of birth of Ishvara, but they will ask about Jivas. Because in earlier chapters also, it was mentioned how the Ishvara enters into the body and the human body and becomes Jiva. But that is only a way of expressing how Ishvara, the Paramatma, actually, he gets abhimana of the Sharira and then thinks of himself as a Jiva. It is not as if when a pot is created, it is not as if the pot is first created and then the Akasha enters into it and fills it up. As and when the pot is created, it is created in, actually the pot is created inside Akasha. Akasha is not filled up inside the pot. So likewise, Jiva was not created at a particular point of time. It is only to make us understand that the Paramatma has taken up the Abhimana of the Sharira and is thinking of himself as the Jiva. That particular methodology was explained. That the Ishvara created the body and he entered. It was mentioned in the earlier Prakaranas. So, Jiva also, as far as we are concerned, Jiva Isho Vishuddha Chit Tatha Jiveshayor Bhida Avidya Tachitor Yogaha Shadasmakam Anadayaha. This is there in the Vedanta Siddhanta. All these 6 things are considered to be anadis. They are always there. So, no further, there's not much point in trying to examine it too much after that. But the point is here, there, for this particular Shruti Vakya, which talks about one Aja. Normally, we see goats or sheep. We can see them in some reddish colors. We see them in white color. We see them in dark black color also. But here there is a sheep or a goat which is of all 3 colors at the same time. There is probably no such real sheep or goat in the world. So we can understand that Aja does not refer to any such 4-legged creature, but it actually refers to Maya only. Here, the 3 colors are referring to the 3 gunas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamo gunas. And it is well known that these 4-legged creatures, they create lots of more and more of their own kind. So, likewise, this Maya is creating lots of appearances in this world, beauteous appearances. And it is further described that one Aja, you can take it in the literal Laukika meaning, superficial meaning would be a goat, a male goat, stays with that Aja. Now, who is this? It is the Jiva who is continuing to being attached to all these appearances created by the Maya and it stays in this body, or from body to body he is going. But another Jiva, he is actually, we have already said that Jiva is not really in the Paramarthika Dasha, he is not different from Ishvara. So when he realizes that my real Swarupa is the Paramartha Swarupa, so he throws away all these superficial, the desire for all these superficial appearances. He says, I am not interested in these things, and I will realize my true form. So that Aja leaves all these things, so that Jiva himself becomes Paramatma. It's not a separate Paramatma, he becomes his own true form, which is originally the Paramatma Swarupa. And thus, this mantra, it clearly describes that Paramatma is beyond Maya. He is not subject to Maya. And only by knowing that Paramatma, that one can attain jnana. And even in the Sankhya Shastra, where they are describing this Triguna and Pradhana and all these things in much detail, they say, Mula Prakriti Ravikritihi, Mahadadya Prakriti Vikrataya Sapta, Shodashakascha Vikaraha, Na Prakritir Na Vikriti Purusha. So immediately one should not say, Are, this is present in this particular Sankhya Shastra text, so Anandagiriya was composed after that particular text. Why not say that that particular text took the shloka from here? So some shlokas are there since we don't know when. Who knows when Shuklambaradharam was composed or who composed it? So this in the Shastra Parampara, in the Sankhya Shastra Parampara, this shloka is there. The Mula Prakriti, that Pradhana, the source cause, that is not a Vikriti. Vikriti means something that is created. It was not created from something else. It was the cause of everything that is created. And from that Mahat Ahankara and all those tattvas which they describe in their Shastra, not going into those details, they are Vikritis of that Prakriti, that Mula Prakriti, but they are themselves the Prakriti for what is created after them. And finally, there are 16 aspects which are final Vikritis, from which other Padarthas, the Panchamahabhutas and so on, those Padarthas are the final Vikaras. And the Purusha, this is the important point here, Na Prakritihi, Na Vikritihi. So Purusha is not a Prakriti. From Purusha, nothing is born. He is not born from anything else. He is not Vikriti also. So he is beyond all this Prakriti Vikriti Bhava, is what is being taught here. Ataha Prakritipeksha Bhinnasya Paramatmaneva Jnanan Muktihi. So that quotation, Vidyaya Amritamashtade, which what you quoted, what is actually the meaning of that? The Swarasika meaning. See, one should not, as far as possible, one should not discard the natural meaning of a word. If at all there is necessity, sometimes yes, Shastra very clearly demarcates when one should take up additional meanings. But as far as possible, one should take up the natural meaning of the word. What is the meaning of the word Vidya? It means to know. And knowledge is different from Upasana. Upasana is to meditate, you think about Shiva like this and Damba like this and in this form and so on, so on, so on. Or whatever your Upasya Devata, think about it like this. That thinking is different, knowing is different. So Vidya, the Swarasikya meaning of the word Vidya is to know, knowledge. So knowledge is only that which is itself what is the truth. Only that can be known. So what is the truth that is to be known? So the point is that what you are explaining by the word Vidya, you are trying to say that the word Vidya refers to that Devi who is Vidya Swarupini, and you are giving her the name of Vidya, and by doing Upasana to her one will attain moksha. This is not the immediate meaning of this word, this sentence. So the immediate meaning of the word Vidya is knowledge. Iti Vidya Padarthascha Atmabhinnam Sarvam Anityam Atmaiva Shuddha Buddha Mukta Satchidananda Rupaha iti Jnanameva. So it is the knowledge, the realization that whatever appears to be different from oneself is impermanent, and once that Atma Swarupa is the only thing that is pure, it is conscious, it is devoid of, it was never subject to any real bandhas, and his true form is of Satchidananda Swarupa. And this is what Acharya clarifies. So the discussion is going on even in this prakarana. Much is remaining to be said, and various other versions of the Shakti Mata discussion coming up in the forthcoming prakaranas by Guru Kripa. We will examine those passages in later sessions. Hara Hara Shankara, Jai Jai Shankara, Sarvavyapaka Chaitanya Rupena Adhyapi Tishthati, Seva Shankaracharya Guru Mukti Pradasana.